I should get my.
Okay, we're on. But
Hey.
how you doing?
Okay.
Okay, just want to tell me if this sounds familiar to you.
Okay. What sounds familiar? I'm listening.
Listen.
Yes. Actually, that was the Tokens' first hit.
Repeat that.
It was the Tokens' first hit. It was released in January, February of 1961. It was recorded in 1960. We had a master, we schlepped it around for weeks and weeks and weeks. We finally um, got a record deal for somebody to release it. And then at the last minute, they decided not to release it because they didn't like the name of the group. We
What
had
was the group?
The name of the group at the time was Those Guys.
Those guys.
We call ourselves Those. Imagine in 1960 having a group called Those Guys. It was pretty cool for then, right?
That was eventually the Tokens, right?
And the record company guy didn't want to hear of it. He said, no, no, you can't call yourself Those Guys. It's too weird. And he had Neil Sedaka and the Tokens on his label years before. So he suggested we use the name the Tokens. That's how we became the Tokens. I mean, I would have picked a better name, but that's what he wanted, and we wanted our record out. So we agreed, and it was a top 15 record. It was our first hit, and we got on the road. We did record hops and stuff like that. And then, of course, subsequent to that, in July, we recorded The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
And whatever happened to that song?
Yeah.
What's happening with your camera?
Yeah. Here it is. That's
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to that song? Was that a success?
About 30, 40 million records. How's that?
To tell me the story of why when we started out with Tonight I Fell in Love.
By the way, the Lion Sleeps Tonight would have been a platinum record today.
Yeah.
But they didn't have platinum records then. So if you sold 3 million, it didn't matter. You sold 1 million records, you got a gold
record.
So today I got a phone call from the guy who administrates my publishing firm. His name is Jonathan Rosner, and he said that there's an artist in Mexico, Chris Nodella or something, I think was the name. Anyway, recorded the song as part of an album in Spanish. He did a Spanish version of our song, but we're the writers no matter what. And so it's getting a lot of hits on Spotify and on Apple, and they're doing a whole campaign around it. So we're going to make money on a song that I wrote 60 years ago.
Fantastic.
Can you imagine that? Yeah, I think.
And cool. The beat goes on.
Yeah, well, I mean, the interesting thing is I also got a check. I got a check in the mail for about $35 as a residual from 2 Different Strokes episodes I wrote. You remember the show Different Strokes with Gary Coleman? Right?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Anyway, they're running it on cable now. So this show I wrote, 50 years ago, I get these little residuals. It's like I call it mailbox money.
Yeah, I have a friend that.
Right now, I'm not making a living. I'm living on mailbox money. Social Security, my pensions from AFTRA and SAG and Writers Guild and whatever, and of course Medicare, Social Security. Otherwise,
well, Social Security for at least another 3 years.
If Trump succeeds in getting rid of Social Security and Medicare, I'm screwed.
Well, today's the first day that they did away with the payroll tax for those that think earning under $100,000.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the employees do not have to take out. They do not have to take out the payroll tax. But the thing about that is that's not officially a law. Only Congress can do the law. So they could withhold the payroll tax and give it back to the employee until December or till the beginning of the new year. At the beginning of the new year, the employee has to pay back the tax that they got. So if you get the extra money now and you spend it, You have to give it back. Plus, it's not benefiting the people who are unemployed, the 30
Yeah,
million.
that's right. If you have a job.
Yeah, because
And,
they're
and,
not
and
getting
second
anything.
of all, the payroll tax is what pays for Medicare, for Social
Social Security.
Security. Anyhow,
Part of Medicare.
so it's been a very eventful day since Tuesday, since we last met. I mean,
We last met Thursday.
what is it? What is it, Tuesday now? Yeah,
Tuesday now.
I mean, what's going on is unbelievable. You know, the amount of white nationalist group has increased by 55% under POTUS swipe, under the current occupant.
Well, they feel empowered. Now they can come out from under the
55%.
woodwork.
And they are, and this woman was on TV today, Elizabeth Newman, who was a pretty high up in the Homeland Security, in the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. And she said that the greatest threat to this country is white nationalism. That's the greatest terrorist threat, is white nationalism, above everything, above Al-Qaeda, above ISIS, above all of them. And we have a president who stokes white nationalism.
Well, I'm afraid it's going to become a shootout, like it almost became in.
It will. What do you think that kid what do you think that
Kenosha?
It was a shootout.
He's defending them.
And he killed two people and wounded one. And the president said nothing about it.
No, he did. He praised him. He said it's well, the kid, it probably would have been murdered, because the guy came after him with this.
No one was threatening him.
They were chasing him with this. They were chasing him, but I think for him to get rid of the gun.
I don't even know what to talk about anymore. You know, the reality right now is that if you think about it, democracy is about to fall off the cliff. It is. I mean, it really is. If President Trump wins another 4 years, this country is finished. Do you understand that? Finished. It's finished as a democratic republic.
Well, not quite now. But if could be a 50-50 thing. Like if he wins the presidency and the Democrats get control of the Senate.
Yeah, they might.
Because then his hands is a little tied.
Well, you know what would happen if they get control of the Senate? They would impeach him again, because what he's doing now is impeachable. Yeah. You know what he's doing now is impeachable. Using the White House as a background for his campaign is impeachable.
The best line I heard, he's going to win the Leni Riefenstahl award. For those, Leni Riefenstahl was a film producer for Nazi Germany.
Hitler. Yeah.
For Hitler.
Yes.
And she has a famous one. I think it's called The Triumph of Wills.
She also took the pictures. She's the only one who photographed the pictures of Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
Winning.
And I think she might have been Jewish. I'm not sure. There was this whole story about her and how she got. But she was a great documentary filmmaker. And she has the pictures of the Nazi, Nazis marching, the parade, and the music, and it looked like the opening of when Melania and Trump came walking down the staircase with the American flags, and that thing was all staged. And Melania wore the same outfit that Leni Riefenstahl wore. She was like a military wife.
I can't stand the fact that these people, all of them, most of the Republicans in the Senate and the House, and all of them that work for Trump, most of them, stand in front of an American flag and lie in their teeth to us. I mean, that whole Republican convention was a lie. It was 90% lies. Lies.
Yeah. But that's over with. The thing
how do you vote for someone, even if you like the judges he appoints, or even if you like the fact that he's going to try to get rid of abortion altogether or women's rights entirely? How do you vote for somebody that lies to you 24,000 times since he walked down the stairs?
But it's ironic. Parts of the abortion and people are complaining about and the church is they don't want to provide any knowledge or birth control, but yet, so are they anti-sex?
No,
If you don't have birth control,
no,
obviously you're taking a chance of getting pregnant.
they're pro-embryo, anti-life. See, when they say they're pro-life, they're not pro-life. They're pro-embryo, because pro-life means you care for the person from birth to grave. That's pro-life.
Well,
People don't really give a shit about what happens to somebody after they're born. They don't care.
Oh, that's true. Otherwise, it
They
wouldn't
don't
be
want
so
them to have
many.
school. They don't want them to have an education. They don't want their family to have money. They don't want them to do anything. They don't want to, let's get rid of Medicare. Let's get rid of Social Security. But they don't want them to be protected at the end of their lives with anything. They don't care. But as long as you protect the embryo, what fucking bullshit that is. What
I agree.
bullshit?
And they don't care for the living.
You want to? That's what I mean. How could they be pro-life if they don't care for the living? There's the question. You framed it. Pro-life, living. An embryo is an embryo. It's a couple of things.
It's a sperm cell hitting an egg. Well, a lot of the religious, at least, consider that the beginning of life.
Yeah, well, they also consider that. Do they consider that after you're born, then that's the beginning of death? Yeah, I guess so.
Well, that's everybody's conception. The minute you're born, the clock is ticking. You don't know when you're going to die. Look what happened to Chadwick Boseman, 43 years old.
That's a cruelty of nature.
Right. I mean, that's
cruel. That's cruel. When you see young people like that with such, I mean, they didn't even talk about what a wonderful job he did playing Jackie Robinson.
Oh, I love that one. That's for me.
They talk about the Black Panther and they talk about Marshall, but he was Jackie Robinson and he was marvelous in it.
Well, I'm going back. I'm an old Brooklyn Dodger fan, and I went to Ebbets Field and I saw Jackie Robinson.
I did too. And I remember. I don't remember 47. I don't remember when he became.
No, well, I'm going back. I just.
But I remember watching him in 48. I was 6 years old.
51, probably.
No, I was 6
remember.
years old. Yeah, so I remember watching him in 48, 49, 50. I remember the World Series in 49 and 50, I think.
My memory goes back to actually the big one is 51 because I remember being heartbroken when Bobby Thompson hit the home run.
Yeah, they didn't get into the series.
No.
But they were in the series in 47 when Robinson came up.
I don't remember. I know he won the Rookie of the Year. He won the Rookie of the Year.
Yes. They lost to the Yankees, though.
But as I say...
That was the famous drop third strike. Remember that? When he had the third strike and the game would have been over in the Dodgers?
Right.
And Mickey Owens dropped it.
Mickey Owens dropped the third strike. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that live. I remember seeing lots of newsreel.
No, I didn't see it live either, but I remember it. I was 47.
But speaking of Jackie Robinson, look what was happening. 60 years past, 70 years past, past 70, 1947.
60 is 60 years. 47 is 30.
It would be 63 years.
It's 73 years.
Yeah. 72.
I mean, I'm 78 and I was born in 42.
Yeah.
So 47 is 5 years minus my age. So it's 73.
Yeah, but look what's happening with, still, being black in America.
Look what hasn't happened.
Well, look what hasn't happened, as I say. And the thing is, the president doesn't recognize that there's anything wrong. He only says that the protest is what
It's not to his benefit to give.
Yeah, he doesn't acknowledge protesters. They are looters and revolutionaries and they're out to destroy the government. He's not a president that's going to unite the people. He doesn't necessarily have to agree with all their positions, but he has to unite the people. He has to acknowledge that they have a cause that they're doing. They're not just out to.
He doesn't
riot.
Care. He doesn't care. The president doesn't give a damn about at least he doesn't. He even admits he's just the president of his base. He doesn't care about the people in the blue states. he doesn't. Oh, California, I don't care. Let them hang. All the places that he's picking out now and going after are all blue states.
Well, they're all supposedly democratic states.
Exactly. I said blue.
Yeah, they're not part of the United States.
No, they're not part of the Confederacy.
Yeah. No, they are.
You know, I think that his appeal is to the Confederacy. Really?
His appeal is to white nationalists, and they are
the Confederacy. Who are they? Who are the Confederacy?
That's true.
The people who wanted to have slaves. And these people would still like to have slaves. And they can't recognize, and not only that, they don't like Jews. They don't like anybody but themselves. And what's George Floyd's? No, was it George Floyd? No, it wasn't. It was Jacob Blake's daughter put it best. She said, "How could anybody?" She said, "There are all kinds of birds. There are all kinds of animals. There are all kinds of trees and rocks. Why do they have the? How could these people have the temerity to say that everybody should be just like them?"
Just the same. Well, I'm surprised they haven't gotten after.
Point of view.
I'm surprised they haven't gotten after Biden because he's Catholic. I think we talked about briefly.
They said he's not Catholic. They went after him and said he wasn't Catholic.
He wasn't religious.
And you know, and then he tells the story of how he tells the story of how one of his first elections or something, he went to a synagogue. Of course, a woman had died who had made an $18 donation to him. Okay.
Yeah.
They never explained 18 though. But when they tell the story, they said, and he said that she gave him an $18 donation, and he thought this was when he was in you know, it's still local basically, I think. And he said it was incumbent upon him to go and pay respects to her. She donated.
But by the way, for those who don't know, 18 in the Jewish religion it's a letter Chai, and Chai means to life.
I was using that as yes.
Right.
They don't tell that. They don't tell that when Biden doesn't explain that. I don't think he even knows, but I'm sure Kamala knows.
Well, she knows now.
I just donated $18 to Kamala, and I sent $18 to Kamala and Joe Biden.
Well, I was going to send the Pelosi Center for the DNC, Democratic National Committee. I was going to do the 15, but I'm going to do 18.
Yeah, I do 18. I want to send money to Katie Porter too, and to the AOC, and to AOC.
There's a lot of money. There's so many things.
They had the biggest campaign contributions in history this month.
Well, I keep on getting phone calls from police benevolent associations, which, truthfully, I'm not anti-police. I want them to demilitarize.
Neither is Biden. I'm anti-murder.
I know, but I would feel unprotected if there was no police.
No one's.
I know, but
I'm surprised he never said I don't want police. He said it very clearly that there are many, many good police.
Right.
The problem is, look, there was another shooting in California where a cop killed somebody. You know, and some of these guys shouldn't have the job. You think everybody that has a job is responsible to carry out that job properly?
But they have to demilitarize the police, because I know even when you speak to them, they sound like
Trump donated military equipment to them.
I know. Well, they say that's wrong.
Of course, it's wrong. The police, and you know what? That the chief of police tried to cover for this guy who shot killed the two people. The chief of police of that, what was the city, whatever.
Not Kenosha.
Kenosha, right. Kenosha. The chief of police says, well, they were both out past curfew.
Now, I thought the chief of police and the mayor are the same people, or police commissioner.
Chief of police, the chief of police is a cop. The police commissioner is a civilian.
Oh, so that him and the mayor then are the same. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear the way he knocked?
They both were violating curfew. Like it's a reason that it's okay that one guy can shoot the other two because it's like justifying, well, neither one of them should have been out. Oh, come on. That's like saying the Democrats and the Republicans are the same. They're not the same. They were never the same. The Democrats want to give education to people. They want people to have health care. They want people to have Social Security. They want to clean the environment. They want college to be paid for. The fucking Republicans don't want any of that.
By the way,
they say that they're the same.
Just one statistic that I had.
Thing I ever heard, it makes me scream.
That I brought out this year. The Republicans have always been for fiscal conservatism.
Oh, yeah, right. Until they don't have to be.
Right. Now, the national debt is $24.95 trillion.
Right.
And growing. When Obama in April
it was
of 2016 was $13.84 trillion.
And he was paying it off, too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. And Trump, one of the things that he promised was that by the end of his, if he has 8 years in, he's going to reduce the national debt to zero. That was one of his promises. So I don't see why people are saying he has fulfilled his promises. He hasn't. The national debt is 80% increase. He hasn't done anything with the health care except knock down some provisions that Obama had. And he comes out to say, who knew it was so hard? Where the fuck was he? Who knew that doing health care was so hard?
He doesn't have the chops to be president. He doesn't have it. He's not interested in leading a country. He's interested in building hotels and making as much money as he can. And I hope to God he loses, and I hope they go after every red nickel he owns and take it back from him and put him in fucking prison.
I mean, he can't even build a good wall. But the thing is,
what?
He can't even build a good wall. And Mexico's not going to pay for it.
No, the wall is, they built 5 miles of wall. And people have climbed over it already and gotten through it.
Well, there's one part of the wall that's sunk into the river or sinking that they try to build. But I mean, I want to know the only thing they have to attack him, the Democrats has to attack him on his fiscal programs, because most of the people give him an approval, a good rating for fiscal management, despite the fact that
that'll go away.
For 4 of his corporations, have gone belly up, where he screwed all the people that he owed money.
His approval rating is 31.
No, but the thing is, a lot of people say when it comes to our fiscal policy, who do you trust more?
It wasn't his economy. First of all, he says the lie that, I inherited a lousy economy. No, you didn't. It had 8 years of steady growth under Obama. He took over an economy from George W. Bush, which was in the toilet because of the war in Iraq and all the other stupidities of George W. Bush. Another fucking moron. At least he wasn't a psychopath, though. And then he takes the economy and he says, it's my economy. No, it ain't your economy, but it is your America now. It's your rioting. It's your killing. It's your white nationalists that are going.
Well, as I say, he's parading around like, he hasn't been president for the last 4 years, or it's three and a half years.
Yeah, and it's like, if you make me president, you are fucking president.
Right.
Remember the end of the American president? I'm the president, and I'll meet you anytime. I mean, come on. Joe Biden is running for president. Trump is the incumbent. He treats this country like Biden's the president now. He said, I'm not the president. I mean, I hope.
Well, I don't know. He has said he's a great negotiator. What's he negotiated?
He's not a great negotiator.
I mean,
he doesn't negotiate. He can't even negotiate. Oh, please. He couldn't even negotiate with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi put him in the dirt every time. Every time.
He doesn't even meet with her anymore.
What?
He doesn't even meet with her anymore.
Because he's afraid.
Because he gets insulted.
No, because he's afraid. He can't
like they
handle
say,
it.
he's a little crybaby.
He's
You
afraid.
yelled at me.
What did Bill Maher said? He's a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
And that's an insult to dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the worst president who's done the worst thing in this country.
But the thing is,
ever. There's no redeeming qualities. You can't say, oh, he murdered 6 people, but he's nice to dogs. That doesn't redeem him.
But again, which for some reason I cannot understand why people think he's so great. I think I don't know. I think he
Why?
reaches.
Just think of Nazi Germany.
I think he reaches into a certain amount of prejudice in people.
Yes. Hate of the other.
But I mean, because
that's what he's got.
He hasn't accomplished anything. He hasn't accomplished anything with North Korea. He hasn't accomplished anything with China. He hasn't, and he probably worse. He's probably cooperating with Russia.
No, we're worse off. We're worse off in every way for his presidency. We're worse off in the world. The world looks at us and goes, they laugh at us. They think we're a bunch of morons. They don't even want to let us in their country anymore.
Right.
They used to live for Americans to come to. No, don't bother. Please stay home. No, Canada. No. You stay down there. It's okay.
Yeah, we're going to close. We're going to close the border. And to boot everything aside from the natural disasters of hurricanes, pandemics.
Fit for the job.
Supposedly on around election day, we might be hit by a meteor. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I would welcome that.
And well, I don't know if I'd welcome that. We go back to the pre-dinosaur age.
Who cares?
I
don't care.
I do.
If we all go, I don't mind it.
I do. I mean, I don't mind me, but I have kids. I went to them, and I don't have grandchildren yet. But
well, if I were God, I would push the button. I really would. I would say, "Fuck them, goodbye." I would.
They screwed up.
Look at all over the world. Look what the world is doing to his. Let's say God did make the earth. Let's just go with that for a minute. You're God. You made this planet. How do you feel about it now? What do you think about now?
Well, I think
what they did to your planet.
I always talk when I talk to religious people. I always say, "Why the hell did God give us free will? Supposedly we have free will. Why? I mean, wouldn't it be better if He controlled things? It would be a perfect world. Why give us free will when He knows we can't handle it?"
Well, because He believed that some of us could.
I think it was Bill Maher that said.
We were doing. Wait a minute. When Obama was president, we were doing fine. We had the treaty with Iran. We were talking to our people. We were, we were keeping Putin at bay. Okay, because Putin is very easy to control. His whole life depends on oil. All you do is stop buying oil, and he's dead. That's the whole economy is oil.
Well, more and more that's coming out, and I don't know why people don't listen to it. I think they've had it, but that Trump and Putin have had business deals, and then one of the reasons that I think he's afraid to show his taxes is going to show the alliance, the things that he has done with Russia. Plus, most of his major loans were from Deutsche Bank out of Chicago,
which is laundered money from Russia.
The Russian oligarchy. Laundered money. I think they've been fined for that.
And you know what? He's dead in the water. He's a criminal. There's nothing to say anymore. He's a murderer. 100,000, 125,000 people are dead that don't have to be.
180,000 right now. 185,000 as of. It was about 185,000 people.
No, but there would have been.
Okay.
There would have been some deaths, even if he started right away.
Yeah.
People got sick and died. But,
I mean, there's two things. The total thing with which I object to, but what he doesn't own up to, there was no preparation. on his part. He didn't know it when the rest of the world and the scientists had been warning him. They've been warning every administration, and Obama gave him a whole book, what to do in case of pandemic and how to prevent it. And he and he fired all the people on his panel. Why? He didn't want to spend the money.
Hillary Clinton said it best while she was running against him. He's unfit for the job. And that's the fact. Now, we didn't realize how unfit. We didn't realize that he couldn't learn the job in 100 years. Because in order to be president of the entire United States, you have to have one important quality: compassion. He has none. You can't be a president of the United States and have no compassion.
Well,
your job is to protect everyone, all the 328 million people that live here. Your job is to keep them as safe as you can. And he has no compassion, and he doesn't care. That's all. And that's in if you look at, listen to Marianne Trump, the book she wrote, and other people that have written books about him, they all have the same story. He has.
Well, they all have that. Aside from compassion, he lacks knowledge. He lacks intelligence.
That's unfit for the job.
And but the thing that still drives me crazy, that's what I expected out of him. You know, I was amazed, and I'm still amazed that he was ever elected. I was amazed that he was nominated. I mean, there were some good people that he ran against for the Republican nomination. I was amazed that for whatever reason he has the charisma or whatever it is, I don't know, but people still love him. And I speak to people that are so-called smart, and they said they're going to vote for him. He was a great president, or he is a great president. I do not see it. It is so obvious to me.
Did you say why is he a great president? Did you ask
I
him
don't know.
why? What did he
do? Look at the stock market. Look at the employment. Look at.
What do you mean employment? Unemployment is up 10.2%.
Right. Well, that's because of the pandemic, but before the pandemic.
No, it's not just because of the pandemic. That's the point. It's because of his reaction to the pandemic.
Oh, right. Okay.
We could have been sailing now if he would have done everything in the beginning. If he would have said, General Motors, you make PPE, you make inhalators, you make this, get this done now, right now. I'm taking the emergency law and I'm taking it, and we're at war with this thing. He never took it seriously. Because why? Because he wants the madness. He wants the chaos. He lives for that.
I was reading something.
His life is chaos. Is suing people left and right for this and that and the other, and cheating.
Well, they had an interesting article in the LA Times today about things being about buying America and manufacturing in America, and it was the great when he first came in, he had the Great American Act, which made federal agencies required to buy things in the U.S., but he hasn't followed up on it. And the federal budget in 2019 amounted to $78 billion that they bought outside of the U.S. In 2016, it was $6 million because and they're supposed to, the federal agencies are supposed to give reports. And they have not released a report yet.
Responsible for anything anymore. Nobody can, they don't even want to give intelligence reports to the Congress that's mandated by law.
Oh, that's a new one. That happened again Friday.
It's a new thing.
And I again they say, oh, they're.
I'm very depressed, everybody. I'm sorry. I know those lions are smiling up there, and you see the gold records on the wall. But I'm very depressed. I feel our country is slipping away from the people. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. And it's slipping away now bigly, as we say.
Bigly.
And if we don't win this election, the United States of America will never recover. It will never recover.
Again, if we lose a presidential election and we win the Senate, there is a vague hope.
There's no it is a vague hope because they might be able to stop him from doing certain things, but they can't put new things into action that he'll sign.
Well, the thing is, it depends.
Have a veto-proof Senate and House.
I think they have to approve it by 2/3, if he vetoes something.
Right, and we won't have 2/3. We're lucky if we have a majority.
No, but the Republicans might jump on the bandwagon in that case if we control the Senate.
Not if he's still president.
And McConnell might not be reelected.
Well,
he has a tough election coming.
I hope so.
So I don't know. I still don't know why people love him.
I know that right now, if there were no messing with the election, if the post office was running the way it's supposed to run, that Biden would win by a walk. Okay, he's 9 and 10 points ahead in the head-to-head, and he has comfortable leads in a lot of in enough of the battleground states, of the swing states, to win the electoral college. But
that's a big thing.
If we're normal, but right now, I think they're going to continue to do things to interfere with the election. And it's going to be up to the people, all the people,
the electorate,
and scrape and go and vote. Every Democrat votes, we win.
Okay. Every Democrat that's watching this show, that's listening to the show, make sure you're registered, make sure you vote, and make sure you vote early.
There's nothing he can do about that. If you vote, we win, because there are more Democrats than there are of his base. Right now, the best he could do is 42%. That's the best he could do. And since what's the name is not on the ticket, what's his name? Connie, what is it? Whoever it is, the guy that they try to put on the ballot.
Oh, Kanye West.
Kanye West. If so, he's not in the race, He
hasn't been put on the ticket.
Yeah. So I mean, if the Democrats all turn out, if they would have all turned out in 2016, we wouldn't have this now. Schmucks, vote. Sorry.
Well, I wonder.
The ones who didn't vote are not schmucks. I'm only talking to the schmucks who didn't vote. And they are schmucks. If they don't vote.
Do we have to interpret the Yiddish word schmuck to our audience? Everybody knows it.
No. If they don't know, fuck them. Really, if they don't know, fuck them.
Well, what do you think is going to happen in the next few days with Trump in Kenosha, praising his I don't know if it's the police or the National Guard, and he said, "Gee, we could solve everything right away. If we just have to have the National Guard, there wouldn't be any more protesters. We'll kill the mothers."
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. And the protests are mostly peaceful, and they're only the rabble that he sends in, and the rabble that shows up in trucks. Those fucking morons in trucks. Sick fucks.
Well, honestly, there are people who take advantage of the mayhem that's happening. There are people that want to set fires, that want to loot.
Yes.
But I think they're a minority.
Yeah, they're very small. And only look.
But they cause such problems.
Here's my mathematical conclusion. When I was born and growing up, the United States of America had 120 million people in it, right? 120 million, that was the number. We had a certain percentage of morons and idiots and ill people with ill will, okay? And white nationalists, they were there, they were always there, and Ku Klux Klan and all of that shit.
And they'll always be there.
Okay. Now we have almost 3 times that amount of people, which means that the percentage of all of those evil people the percentage has remained the same, but the amount of people has tripled.
Yeah.
So now instead of having 60,000, you have, I mean, there's a lot more, but let's say now you have 180,000. So you have more wackos to shoot people in temples and to blow up a clinic and to go on a street and shoot 2 people. It only takes one person, one psycho to do that.
Yeah,
and most of these things were committed by a single person. It wasn't committed by a group of people. It was committed by one person.
what I'm afraid of is Trump, is glorifying all these
Yes, he is.
these armed protesters that are for him, the white nationalists,
That
and says,
woman,
"Good, come out to protect
and that
property,"
woman, and that
and he's
woman,
gonna.
that's why she eventually left, and that's why that woman, what was her name again? Damn, who was working with Homeland Security. That's why she left.
She left.
She left because she stayed because she thought she could, she voted for Trump.
Right. She thought she
Thought
she could influence him.
And she stayed because she thought she can put some sense into it.
Well, that's what
warned him, and she warned him many times that the biggest threat was from white nationalists, and he wouldn't hear it. He wouldn't hear it.
That's what a lot of people who stayed with him said. They stayed with him because they thought they could work better. They can control him from the inside than the outside, and then they got frustrated and they left.
And then they find that they can't.
Right. Anyway, we're at the end of our time. You're listening to Phil Margo, The Lion Roars. This is Malcolm Berman on Malcolm Digital Radio. And
Malcolm Digital Radio. MALCOLMDIGITALRADIO.com.
.com.
Yes.
And do you want to, Thursday good for you, kid?
Sure.
Do another show, same time? Well, same time, the people don't know what time it is.
There'll be plenty of news.
There's plenty of news after we get off after we end the show. Anyway, have a good few days. Don't get too aggravated, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.